Hi, I want to reconvene the regular meeting of the Brattleboro Selectboard for July 3rd. We know the meeting has been properly warned because we went into executive session at 5:30. First up is to approve the minutes of the June 5th and June 19th meetings. Does anyone have any comments or suggestions, or would someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the revised June 5th meetings and June 19th minutes.
We have a motion to approve the June 5th meeting minutes as revised and the June 19th meeting minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. The only remarks I'm going to make is to remind everybody that tomorrow's the 4th of July, and there's a parade that begins at 10, kicks off at the high school, goes right down Canal Street, through Main, ends up at the Common. 9:30 fireworks at Living Memorial Park.
Yeah.
And in the afternoon, family activities at the park. So we encourage all to enjoy the day. Bring your water and your sunscreen. Does the town manager have any remarks?
I do not this evening, thank you.
Does anyone on the select board have any remarks or reports that they'd like to give?
No, the only thing I want to mention, though, on the calendar, the Compassion Committee, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, they're meeting again July 20th. And even
Yes.
though I'm not there, I'm wondering if we can start including their meetings in the calendar.
Yeah,
people.
I think it's is that the fourth Thursday or something?
It's like the third Friday.
The third Friday, yeah, so it's always the third.
Yeah,
Friday.
always the third Friday
Yeah,
at
but
like,
if,
what is it, 3 or 3:30?
Yeah, since the town is directly involved, you can say, that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, I'll make sure that Jen gets that.
Cool.
And you'll remind me because I'll forget the first time.
Yeah.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah.
David and I
Oh, yeah.
toured the new solar facility,
Oh, great.
WSWMD, right?
I want to go do that.
Which is fantastic. I think now online. And I also got to get my my geek on about the
The composting. Yeah.
facility, which is also very impressive in different ways. So.
And one other impressive thing is I see why you make your living with visuals, because the pictures that he took were exactly the ones that I wished I could have taken. These panels going off like flowing waves on the ocean. It was just gorgeous. And these guys hauling these gigantic like huge cables. So anyway, let's search Facebook and see if you can find those pictures. I sent them to the Commons and the Reformer. I don't know if they'll print them, but it was pretty interesting, pretty beautiful work. That was pleasing.
Thank you.
But yeah, the thing is hot, and we'll be getting electricity from it soon.
Anyone else have any comments?
I do. I am speaking tonight to inform the public about a community outreach project where the Brattleboro Police Department, carrying the heavy realization of the opiate crisis and the effect that that has in our community, has chosen to partner with certain organizations in town, such as HCRS, Turning Point, Groundworks, Habit Opco, the state's attorney's office, the retreat in the high school, to form something called Project CARE, which is a community approach to recovery and engagement. It's going to include things such as safe opportunities for people to surrender drugs and paraphernalia without fear of arrest during specific times at the police department. The hope is that they will be somebody probably from Turning Point on site at that time to talk with them and also, give some help to get into other programs. The Brattleboro Retreats Hub program is going to do times that people can drop in to do intake, and I believe Habit Opco is going to be doing the same. Turning Point is also going to be setting up people with recovery coaches, and that's part of, I believe, the program that would take place directly at the police station for the surrendering of paraphernalia as well. This is just me giving a really brief overview, but in reading social media and other media and sitting at this table, it's pretty clear that people are really wanting to see that there is holistic, collaborative, and forward-thinking action. So if anybody is interested in learning more than what I've just said, then on Friday, July 13th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., you can come and enjoy a community cookout in the Preston lot on Flat Street. And at that cookout, you can give donations. You can hear more information. You can talk with people from these various organizations, including our police department, about what this looks like, how maybe you can be involved if you want to, or you can just ask questions. This is just one of the things that are going on in town to try and address things like the opiate crisis and other aspects of some of the signs of our times, and like homelessness, that are really holistic, with a lot of people really putting their heads together to come up with good, sustainable solutions. So I would encourage anybody who has taken the time to so thoroughly express feelings about local opiate crisis, etc., to attend this cookout Friday, July 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Flat Street in the Preston lot.
Brandy, is there information? Where can I find that online so I can repost it on my page? And
Yes, I have seen it on the scanner page, and I have downloaded it because it was not posted as public.
Oh,
and
I see.
will share it, and I will make sure that we all have it as well to share it. So I just downloaded it to my computer, but hadn't gotten around to posting it yet.
Okay.
Maybe if the Brattleboro Vermont page can post it out.
Yeah,
or-
and I know the police department intends to do some more
Yep.
community outreach around it as well.
Yep.
And so
I'll be gone, but I just want to make sure I put it up before I
Yes.
leave so I
Yep.
can alert people to it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get that sucker out there, because the hope from Chief Fitzgerald and really Officer Petlock, who's been doing enormous amount of work on this, would really like the community to be present to learn about this and ask questions and be excited.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good stuff.
My pleasure.
And it's a good example of our different parts of our community coming together to
Yeah.
attack different parts of the problems that people see all the time in our community.
Well, it's also an invitation, because one of the things I find challenging is people they complain, but they're not coming up with a solution. But here is a way for people to get involved, and it's an invitation. So, thank you, Brandy.
Wow, all the thanks goes to the police department, but I'm glad to be announcing it. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else on the select board have any more comments? Committee reports? Seeing none, it's time for public participation. And this is the time in the meeting when anyone from the public can speak about something that's not on the agenda. Does anyone want to speak about something not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, we'll go right to our reason for being here is to set the FY19 property tax rate. And I will turn it over to the town manager to explain what we're doing.
Thank you, Kate. So unfortunately, I begin with an apology. We sent out to the board at just before 3 o'clock this afternoon and posted to the website at that same time an updated memorandum and summary sheet regarding the tax rate. We had first distributed information at about 10 o'clock this morning, and we discovered an error in that. So I'm going to try to summarize this and make it, avoid making it more confusing than necessary, because I think if we get in the weeds, it could be really confusing really fast. So what I want to encourage people to do, and if the board thinks that I need to explain more thoroughly what the error was and how we corrected it, then I'll be happy to go and do that. But by way of summary, what I'd like to suggest is for people in the community who may be watching or may see this later and are interested in looking at the details, if you look at the town's website for the information related to the FY19 property tax rates, the information posted there now is the accurate information. There's a cover memo from me that explains the error and how we corrected it. I would say, just by way of summary, that the impact of the error would have been very small, but it was still incorrect information. We thought we needed to make it right. The impact would have been something on the order of about $2 in taxes per every $100,000 worth of value. But again, the calculation would have been slightly off. So we've corrected that, but the correct information is what's now on the website. The correct information is what's in front of the board and what we're going to speak to here in a moment. And so I'd urge people to focus on that. And it's attached to a memorandum from me to the Select Board dated July 3rd, 2018 at 2:50 p.m. We don't normally date and timestamp our communications, but today we needed to do that to be clear. So having said that, what's attached to my memorandum is the information that the board is used to seeing each year from John O'Connor, our finance director and treasurer. John's here if we have any questions to address with John about these calculations. But basically, in summary, what happens is he takes the various component pieces that require tax rate action and breaks them out so that it's clear what is for general fund obligations, what is the part that's called local agreement, that's an adjustment that's made related to the tax exempt properties and under state law, the DID assessment for the downtown improvement district, so that's a separate piece that only the downtown property owners pay, and then the separate assessment to pay off the utility improvements in Tri-Park. So there's a Tri-Park assessment as well that's part of the action that you would take this evening. The sum total of that is what will affect most property owners in town is the general fund operations component piece of this, and the increase there consistent with the summary of that. So the first page is the calculations related to the rates. The second page is the summary of the impact of that upon taxpayers. And you can see at the very top of that sheet, there's a lot of details that relate to which kind of taxpayer, to which kind of property owner you might be and how it would particularly affect you. But the most important part is at the very top where the municipal tax rate is shown as being proposed to be $1.27, $1.2746 per $100 of value, which is an increase of 5.5 cents over last year's tax rate. And you'll recall that during the budget discussions here last winter, what staff proposed and the select board recommended to town meeting was a 3.6 cent increase. And then during the course of town meeting, there were additional actions taken to provide additional funding for the skate park and also funding for the purchase of the second sidewalk plow. And those two pieces are what have brought the tax rate increase up to 5.51 cents for this year. This information that was sent out to you this afternoon, we believe is fully in order for your approval. We'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, or if you're ready to act, then there's a proposed motion at the bottom of John's memorandum.
Now, what we are setting is the municipal tax rate, and then we're agreeing this is what the state is telling us.
That's exactly
what theirs
correct.
is. And the municipal tax rate is $1.27, almost $1.28. And the state rate that they're telling us is $1, basically $1.58.
That's correct.
These are for residential property owners, and for the non-residential on the state level, it's $1.52,
Correct.
give or take. So when people see that their total tax rate is $2.85 or 86 cents, that's between the town and the state.
That's correct.
The education tax.
Yeah.
So I want people not to freak out that it's all the town's fault.
So you're saying, like, basically, just to make sure I understand correctly, it's a combination. It's the town's rate and the state's rate, which comes down to the taxpayer.
That's right.
Got it.
And the municipal tax rate, which is the $1.27, was set by what we decided to spend at town meeting.
That's correct.
In looking at how much, money that we take in, how much do we have to tax people to cover the expenses at town meeting? And then the homestead and non-residential is set by the state based on how much it's the municipal. A lot of it's the education tax.
Exactly.
And that sort of is. So we're only responsible for actually less than half.
A stupid question. Non-residential, non-houses, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's also, although it doesn't sound like it, it's commercially owned residential properties, so apartment buildings also qualify as non-residential.
Okay.
The state legislature is actually considering changing that terminology in state law because it is very confusing.
Okay.
It's all commercial buildings
Yeah.
and residential buildings that are not where the owner lives.
Primary home,
Not
yeah.
people, owned by people who don't live here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's a summary of, and I might have missed it, the difference on the school side between the previous year and this year.
I don't know that we showed that, I'm sorry.
Well-
It's I mean, that's not our domain, obviously, but it might go.
Actually,
It does, right
Might be
there.
good to
it is there.
highlight
In the
that.
middle of the page, it shows that the homestead education rate is dropping by 1.5 cents, and the non-residential education rate is increasing by 5.6 cents.
You say that right there, under
Right,
Tri-Park.
These two.
Yep,
Oh, I see.
John did show it, thank you.
Oh,
Yep.
Tri-
So that hasn't impacted that much.
The homestead, as Peter said, has gone down, so that helps to buffer the increase in the municipal. So the total increase for the homestead is 3.97 cents.
And you can see that at the bottom of that page, let's say for the benefit of the public, that we're working from the 3 sheets of paper that are posted on the town's website. So again, if you're interested in seeing these details for yourself, that's the place to see them. And you can go straight to the homepage of the town's website and click on the right side of that for FY19 tax rates, and this information will pop up. For the benefit of the board at the moment, the 3 blocks of information at the bottom of the second page, so the third page of the package, but the second page of John's material, is where it shows per 100,000 of value, or for those who might own a $200,000 or $250,000 property, you can just read across that line and see what the actual tax impact is for those different valuations. And the reason there's 3 separate blocks is there's the municipal only, and then the municipal with homestead, and then the municipal with non-residential. So depending on what category your particular property fits in, you can see how this action this evening is going to affect your taxes.
Does anyone else have any questions? Makes sense. Anyone in the public have any questions? We're waiting for one. Shanta, you could have gotten us one.
I know. I told her she could ask questions.
Yeah.
She's gonna pass, right?
Does anyone want to make a motion? You can taxes.
I love, what'd you say? I will make a motion to approve a municipal tax rate of $1.27, I shouldn't say it that way, should I say? 1.2762 per $100 of assessed valuation for general fund operations, an additional 0.1281 per $100 of assessed valuation for the downtown improvement district, an additional $6.8785 per $100 of assessed valuation for the Tri-Park special assessment, and to ratify the state mandated education tax rates at 1.5825 per $100 of assessed valuation for homestead properties, and 1.5144 per $100 of assessed valuation for non-residential properties.
That was amazing.
As we have a motion to approve the tax rate, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Someone like to make a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy 4th of July.
So if it stays this hot, I don't know if I want my kids marching tomorrow on the pavement.
Wait, do people